Have you ever found yourself wondering if you've maybe already met the person that Allah wrote for you and you just didn't even realize it? It's the kind of question that can honestly keep you up at night. But what if the signs are there, just not in the loud, flashy way the world tells you to look for them? Okay, let's really dive into this.
Let's just sit with this for a second. This whole journey to find a spouse, man, it can feel like one long, frustrating delay. But what if that waiting isn't some kind of punishment? What if it's actually divine redirection, a kind of protection, getting you ready for what's truly meant for you? Just framing it that way, it can change everything.
All right, so let's start with the big one, the foundational question that so many of us get completely tangled up in. Is your spouse already written for you, or is it all up to you? Let's unpack that, because it's not as simple as it sounds.
At first glance, these two ideas, divine decree and our own free will, they seem like they're in total conflict, right? But in Islam, they actually work together beautifully. You absolutely, 100% have the freedom to choose. But here's the key. Your choice, your personal will, it operates within the grander, all-encompassing plan of Allah.
And this whole concept is what we call Qadr. Look, this is not about being a puppet on a string, not at all. It's about having this deep, comforting understanding that while you are making your own choices, you're also a character in a story that's being written with infinite wisdom by the absolute best of planners. And trusting that plan, that's the real game changer.
So if it's all part of this divine plan, how does Allah actually reveal the person who's written for you? Well, the signs are often really subtle. They're not the fleeting sparks or the crazy fireworks the world tells us to chase. There's something much, much deeper.
It really boils down to two crucial, non-negotiable signs. First, a profound compatibility in your faith, your Deen, your whole way of life. And second, this deep, unshakable feeling of inner peace, something we call sakina. Just think of these as the two main pillars that any lasting, righteous partnership has to be built on.
This hadith right here, this is your ultimate filter. This isn't about sharing hobbies or liking the same movies. It's about sharing a vision for this life and for the next one. You have to ask yourself, are we even walking in the same direction? Does this person bring me closer to Allah? Because let's be real, marriage doesn't magically align your core values later on.
And then there's sakina. We've been taught to mistake all this intensity for love, the anxiety, the constant overthinking, the stomach knots we call butterflies. But that's not the sign. The real sign, the divine sign, is a profound sense of calm. When you talk to them, does your world get louder and more chaotic, or does your heart just become a quieter room?
And this is the whole point. The Quran itself tells us that marriage is for finding tranquility. It's literally designed to be a mercy, a source of peace. The right person doesn't bring chaos into your life. They bring a sense of calm, a gift directly from Allah.
Of course, the path is almost never this straightforward. For most of us, it's a painful cycle of getting your hopes up and then feeling them crash down. So let's talk about that emotional roller coaster, what I call the test of open and closed doors.
You meet someone, maybe a proposal comes through, and for a moment, everything feels like it's finally moving forward. Your hope just soars.
And then, just as quickly, it's over. A parent objects, the communication just fizzles out, and you're left heartbroken, confused, and right back where you started.
And this right here, this is where you have to reframe that pain. That slammed door feels like the ultimate rejection, doesn't it? But what if it's not? What if it's actually Allah's protection? What if He is actively steering you away from a future of harm that you just couldn't see?
So navigating all these tests, it requires a kind of spiritual compass. And that compass has two true norths: patience and an unshakable, rock-solid trust in Allah's timing.
It is so important to get this deep into your bones. That period of waiting you're in right now, it is not rejection.
In fact, it's protection. Protection from what was never meant for you. And honestly, protection from heartbreaks you can't even begin to imagine.
And maybe most importantly, waiting is preparation. It's the time Allah is using to shape you, to grow your patience, to strengthen your trust, making you ready for the amazing blessing He has written just for you.
So please, remember this, that delay is not a denial, it is a design. It's not some cosmic pause button on your life. It's an intricate, merciful, and perfect plan unfolding. So what can you do, practically speaking, right now? You turn to Him. These are two incredibly powerful du'as for guidance. The first one is a direct plea for His mercy to envelop you. And the second one, it's this beautiful supplication from Prophet Musa, where you simply humble yourself and say, "O Lord, I am in need of any good that you send my way.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to really ponder. What if this period of waiting isn't just something you have to endure? What if it's something to be embraced, a sacred, essential part of your story, where your soul is being carefully prepared for the person whose soul is being prepared for you? Trust the design.